let's talk the Giants, New York Football Giants. Dexter Lawrence, sexy Dexy. We got him. Sign an extension, 4 years, $90 million, including a $22 million signing bonus, $60 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of almost $22 million. In 2023, he'll earn a base salary of $2.25 million, a signing bonus of $22, carrying a cap hit of $6.6 million, a dead cap of $46.5 million. This contract has a potential out after year 3 in 2026, which would incur $8.8 million in dead cap. He'll be, if he plays throughout his contract, fulfills the contract, he'll be 30 by the time the contract is up, and a unrestricted free agent in 2027, I believe. I love this deal. I think it's great. I think the majority of Giants fans love it, and the ones that don't, I don't know what you're looking for out of life. I just don't know what you want for this team. I saw there was that pipsqueak who went on Colin Cowherd's show. I forget his name. He's a dork. I don't listen to him, but it was that clip of him like tearing apart this deal and saying like, I guess he must be boys with Saquon, or he's a huge Saquon supporter. And he's saying, well, you're going to give all this money to Dexter Lawrence, who didn't have any sacks in the postseason, versus Saquon, who literally turned around the offense and when healthy helped them get to the playoffs. And it was just like, you're talking about two different positions, two different situations. I mean, Dexter Lawrence was an all-pro, Pro Bowler, and we have had our recent track record or recent history with defensive linemen is we don't sign them to a second contract. We let them walk. And how many times have we seen guys that started with the Giants on the defensive line go to another team and have a long, illustrious career? Linval Joseph, Fred Robbins, BJ Hill we traded away. But there are plenty of guys that, Dalvin Tomlinson, there have been plenty of guys that have played really well, average to above average for us, and just didn't give them a second contract for whatever reason. And it's ultimately kind of hurt us to the point where we had to trade for Leonard Williams. And I know it's a Gettleman move, and we don't want to talk about Gettleman. I get it. We don't talk about David. Okay. But at the same time, it's just good that this regime recognizes the talent that we have, the young talent that we have, and understands the importance of keeping that core together, right? You have these guys that have performed above and beyond. They've been recognized for their talents and for their production, their output. And maybe that's not necessarily sacks, like a high sack total, but it's also like contributes to 3 and outs, makes tackles for loss, plugs a hole, occupies 2 to 3 linemen to free up a linebacker. There are plenty of positive attributes and aspects of their game that you can look at and say, this is someone that we want in the clubhouse. We need to reward them for their play. They were playing well above the value of their current contract. We need to reward them. And Dexter Lawrence, they did it with Daniel Jones, and they did it with Dexter Lawrence. And I guarantee you they're going to do it with Saquon Barkley. And if they don't, that's going to suck. But I can live with it because there is a sense for most of the fandom that we have the right GM, we have the right head coach, and they understand that, okay, Daniel Jones might not be Patrick Mahomes right now, but can he be a top 10 quarterback? And what do the top 10 quarterbacks make? Oh, okay, it's right in that $40 million range. Jalen Hurts getting like $50+ million. Wouldn't it be funny if that dude never wins a Super Bowl? Very possible. So I'm all for it. I can't understand anyone, from the accounts that I follow on Twitter, Giants fan accounts, Giants accounts, media accounts, everyone's been in favor of it. I don't know who these people are interacting with on Twitter that are naysaying everything that goes down, but it feels like burner accounts from Cowboys, Eagles fans. So it's good to have him in the mix. And then you start to look at who else do you want to extend? I think Andrew Thomas is on that list there, right? And then it's just nice to not have to think about it. It's like set it and forget it, and now we can turn our attention to some other areas of that need improvement. So it's gonna be great. A lot of optimism. I really do think that he's a guy that could potentially end up in the Ring of Honor. He's talking about there's Hall of Fame talk going around. He has high aspirations, which is great to hear. I know sometimes we tend to value a player's humility and being humble, but it's also nice that they have goals and ambitions, and like Hall of Fame feels realistic for Dexter Lawrence. Obviously we'll see, but like I think a lot of people are calling this a team friendly deal, and that's huge because that completely dismantles that whole disease of me talk that Michael Lombardi had going on, where the guys want to be here. And we're going to get into the undrafted free agents, but those are some pretty good examples of some guys that had offers from other teams, probably a little more lucrative than what the Giants are offering, but they turned those down and came to our club because they see something, or they've felt something when they talked with Dable, or they talked with Shane, or they talked with the position coaches at the pro day. They feel it. They feel like family. Like Deonte Banks said, he felt like family when he talked to Wink. So that is what, Gettleman had been talking about for a long time, is like culture. We can't have cancer in the clubhouse. That was a lot of talk that didn't really translate. Now that is a reality. I think you do have the solid foundation for a great clubhouse with guys that are not shit talking. You take a look at the guy who did shit talk or was disgruntled, Tate Crowder, and they said, all right, if you want to be somewhere else, then we're going to let you go somewhere else. You don't want to be here? All right, then we'll make it happen. You got to want to be here. You got to want to play here. So I'm so happy to have Dexter Lawrence locked up. And I think we're going to look back at that deal and we're going to be like, what a perfect signing. We didn't overpay. We got what we paid for. And now you have to focus on, what we're going to do about Leonard Williams, Dory Jackson, some of the more higher priced veterans that were kind of mercenary, some might say desperation grabs on Gettleman's part. I think Shane, he's trimming and he's hedging, right? He had this really funky looking bush from Dave Gettleman. And now he's just going, all right, this looks doable. So yeah, very pumped about Dexter Lawrence. Very happy about it. And Saquon's next. I'm freaking telling you, Saquon is next. It's coming. And while he wanted 16, I don't think he's going to get 16. But if we're talking, I think guarantees are the name of the game nowadays. And that's what players are going for. So if they can figure out what Saquon's guaranteed number is, and I'm pretty sure he might have said it already. If they can figure out how they can get that guarantee locked in, all the other bullshit is just icing on the cake, right? It's just superfluous. It's like, it is what it is. So, but if they can get that guarantee number that he wants so badly, then I think we're in a good spot. I'm willing to friggin' roll the dice on Saquon from here to kingdom come, dude. I am. I think I have no doubt in my mind that he's worth it. And you just got to figure out a way to put him in positions to succeed, keep him healthy. And I think that, by drafting a running back and by having Breida, I don't know that you're going to see too many more games like the Houston game last year where they're feeding him 35, 40 times. I mean, yeah, that's cool once. Like 1 week out of 17, that's kind of cool. I kind of dug that like, let's just feed him. And if we continue to get 4 yards a pop, let's just keep feeding him. Hopefully you do that before a bye. You don't want to do that right before a Thursday night game. But I'm not going to lie, that was kind of cool to see. But that's not the game plan moving forward. That can't be the game plan moving forward. So, Saquon's next, dude. Put in the books. I'm so convinced that it's going to happen that it's an afterthought at this point. It's just like, they just have to, I know that it got a little murky and it got a little testy there right before the draft where it's like, we rescind our offer and we were walking away and, they're not talking and and it's just like, you only have so much attention, time, resources, energy, effort. And it's like, if you feel like you've hit a wall, do you keep hitting that wall? Or do you kind of say, hey, let's pause. Let's take a breath. We need to focus on the draft. Are you okay with us drafting a running back? We want to have some insurance for you. We want to give you some breathers. We want to manage your work a little bit more, or we just want a player that fits a different part of the game plan, even though I mean, Saquon's all around, like just he can catch, he can run, like, there's not many weaknesses in his game other than maybe pass blocking. So it's like, can we draft a running back that can pass block? And it seems like Saquon was okay with it and gave the green light, which is cool. So he's gonna get his money, and he's gonna feel really great about it. And then we're gonna have our quarterback locked up. We're gonna have our running back locked up. Our top defensive lineman locked up. Hopefully, our left tackle locked up. I mean, like, it's all fallen into place. These are all the stepping stones to something great. I'm telling you. And you can put my stamp of approval, seal of approval on everything that's happened. I don't think there have been many missteps at all so far this offseason.